So scary plants, we have about 35 to 40 different specimens, and we have categorized them into different groups. So we have what we call bizarre botanicals, which are plants that are strange looking and just a sight to see. And then we have vicious plants, which are poisonous or spiny, scary looking. And then we have carnivorous plants, which are plants that eat insects. This is the telegraph plant, and it actually tracks light and changes in light. So at morning, at night, it's typically a little more active, but it also can respond to music as well. But it's a pretty crazy plant to come in here and study up close. Yeah, so this is the vicious plant area. As you can see, we've got a lot of spiky plants. So this stump right here is from a honey locust, which is a native tree. The castor bean is a pretty common ornamental plant, but the seed heads, the seeds itself, is actually where we get ricin from. So it's a very poisonous seed. This is a prickly pear, but it's actually an edible plant, like even for humans. So if you really want to spend the time to pull all the thorns out, you could actually eat this guy. So this is a pitcher plant. And what it does is it has nectar along the rim, and it attracts insects, spiders, and they come in and it actually intoxicates them. So it makes them a little off balance, and they end up falling in, and there's digestive enzymes down at the bottom. So that's where it digest the insects. They can get large enough in certain areas where they can even digest small frogs. This is the North American pitcher plant. So similar to this guy, it's kind of like a cousin, but this one's actually native to the Carolina region. This is the sheep-eating plant, and that name is accurate to what it can do. Spines up the base of it. It's native to Chile, and small mammals can become ensnared in them, and then they will die and decompose. And there's the most famous of all over there, which is the Venus flytrap, which everyone is a big fan of, from young to old. And it actually has 2 little trigger hairs inside, and they have to be triggered within about 5 to 10 seconds of each other 2 times in order for the trap to close. And that's a mechanism the plant has developed, so it knows there's something active and alive and moving in there. So this is our bizarre area, so we just have kind of really strange looking plants. And this is a succulent plant, the spurge, but it has almost no chlorophyll, which is why you have the white color to it. So it's kind of the pumpkin on a stick. It is related to tomatoes. You don't want to eat it, but the idea is that the fruit that it produces looks like a tiny miniature pumpkin. So the sculptures in the exhibit, we have 4 larger-than-life carnivorous plants that were made by Torque, which is a company or a group here in Columbus, and they made these for us several years ago. It's part of a traveling exhibition that we have showed at other gardens throughout the country. So this is back for the first time in 4 years here at the conservatory. This Torque piece here is that you have to actually hit the button twice, and so when you hit it once, you'll hear the fly kind of moving around in there. That'll be the sound you hit, and you hit it again and it will shut. So there's that. When they're really active in the right light, they'll close pretty quickly. It's actually a fairly common plant called a mimosa. Mimosa trees grow indigenously here as long as the winters aren't real severe. They're definitely a tree from the south. The container next to it is bladderwort, and there's little tiny little water organisms that swim around inside, little aquatic life that the plant actually eats. It is a meat-eating water plant. We have a team of staff that develops many of our in-house exhibitions. So starting last year in the winter, we really hammered down on this show. But then when it came to actually selecting the plants, we had a staff of horticulturalists that did the research and came up with a very wide list of plants. And from them we narrowed it down based on the time of year we'd be displaying them, what we could grow, and what we could reasonably source.